Welcome back to My Hero Academia Anime Review Episode 156. Yes, for the second week in a row, no new manga chapter. Yes. So, apparently we're going to get a new chapter next week. Yeah, it's kind of weird though, the fact that this series had to take a 3-week break all of a sudden. I don't know why. But at least the anime still produces that stuff, yes. Now here we're discussing the fourth to last episode of Season 6. I say fourth to last because, well, we actually have like 3 more episodes left to go. This was discussing episode 135 of My Hero Academia, Friend, and this pretty much covers the rest of chapter 316 pages 12 to 17 in the entirety of chapters 317 to 319. So pretty much this episode finished with having chapter published in this volume right here, volume 32, and it goes to the first chapter of volume 33. This is the most recent book released here. Let me take a look and see exactly when the next volume is supposed to come out, because I don't think that's much longer now. Let's see. How many more volumes? Like, when is the next one? Volume 34. Let's see. 34. Here's the strange thing about volume. See, this book here I got in my hand. This came out only just last month here. Yeah, last month. And here's the strange thing. The next book doesn't come out for 2 months. And that's actually kind of a good thing. Mainly because the fact that, well, the reason why I think so, because, well, the season wrap up. So basically, by the time this season wraps up, they will fully adapt the chapter in this volume right here, which is the first time I could think that this ever happened for this anime. Yes, it's never happened before. Oh, and 35? 35 comes out in September. 36 comes out in December. Looks like once every 3 months. And 37, which is the most recent volume release, actually came out just last month. No release date for it just yet. I'm guessing it is probably going to be sometime next year. But it's kind of weird though. This volume here I got in my hand. That was released 1 year ago last month. 1 month. 34 1 year exact. 35 was like 1 year and 2 months later here. 36 also 1 year and 2 months. And there's still volume 37. Yeah, so I heard the reason why it's taking longer to release the books here because they're catching the manga right now. So, reason to release them. So, a minute. So, basically, we pick up where we left the last time the guy gave information about this mansion. Where supposedly All For One is at. So, basically, Deku, along with the top 3 heroes, Endeavor, Hawks, and Best and they're there with, get this, Mount Lady, which she's not been seen since the previous arc of the series. The previous arc of the series, where she was unconscious. And her boyfriend is there, Komodo, which they also cut the stuff basically about, here's the thing, this stuff they cut out here, which I thought was so funny, of how the writer basically describes these characters. Let's see if I can find it here. Yeah, so how they basically describe these characters, this is basically from 317. We have Kamaji Woods, Rookie, Eggshot with Komodo Pizza, Mount Lady, get it done, girl. I thought that was so funny. In the anime, they kept this out for some reason. So they get to this former hideout of the creature something. Let's see if I can find it here again because I just saw it. Because, here we go. They go to the former headquarters of the Creature Rejection Clan. Basically, that woman who was known as the undivided civilian. Yeah, they're described as bigots. This is a former headquarters. And the way it's presented here in the manga, that's how it's presented in the anime. Yes. So, we see Deku obviously going first, because it was like, wait, hold on. And of course, again, it's like, oh, nothing here. And then, of course, we get a message from Dever, which is a little different than presented in the manga. Because the manga presented this message as, well, a little different per se. Apparently, they like doing messages via these little speaker buttons. And, of course, gives a spiel. Is like, haha. Now, when I did my review of this chapter a couple years ago, I gave All For One a deep voice, despite the fact John Sweetie doesn't sound like that in the anime. Oh no, his voice is completely different. His voice actually was higher than how I did it, which is something. And so then the mansion explodes. They give a spiel like, now pretty much the dialogue he has is spot from the manga. And then afterwards, they basically have the heroes meet up in inside a warehouse where they chat, and they give Mount Lady a lot of dialogue in this scene, which I think in the manga this was basically edged up where a lot of the manga he was, because Mount Lady spoke she had like a few lines. In the anime, they gave her a lot more dialogue, which here's the thing. I am not going to basically say this was Funimation's idea to do this or Jay Monastery. No, I think it was Bones' idea to do this, because my only guess is because they want to give Mount Lady some more dialogue, so give more dialogue. Of course, she discussed about the way the mansion blew up, so discuss them having a support system in place, because then of course, while chatting, of course, about Deku, they mentioned that double arm, death arm that retired. Which the manga gave a different name, which, here's the thing. When they have him retire in the manga, it's basically in front of a white background. In the anime, they have him do it in front of a locker. They have him take off his goggles that he wears, they have on his gauntlets, takes off his costume, puts on a regular outfit, walks off. Kind of interesting they changed that. I think that's fine in terms of the anime. I don't think anime have a problem with that at all. Then, of course, then we cut Deku basically just walking away from Dever. He does say anything in the manga, which basically, so there's also hints of the, possibly that the One For All Quark, the whole former host basically think Deku is missing something. And that being his friends. So, Deku's obviously, he has basically not slept. He hasn't ate or slept in quite a while. He just basically takes out an assassin. Has no information he needs, so basically just runs out. He thinks he might explode like Lady in the God, but yeah, so he just walks up, just abandons All Might, which, by the way, he does apologize for this in a little bit later, so don't worry, there's no grudge between them basically after this. So, and then he goes to the area where you have, I think this may have been the area where All Might retired, because we see his statue. This is not the same one with graffiti per se, because there's no graffiti. Also, it's raining here, yes. And you might be asking, Nick, was it raining in the manga when he arrived in this plaza? Yes, it was raining. So, yep, so he gets there and he runs into a supervillain known as Dictator, where it mentions that Crest hero, he was the one to basically, arrest him 5 years prior to the series. Which, sadly, Crest is dead. This is probably the first time he's been brought up by Deku of the entire series. And it's great, though, the fact that they show off he still basically he's basically a wealth of knowledge related to superheroes. So he basically knows what Dictator is. He was in Tara, so you might know where All For One is. Tried to get closer, but basically surrounded by his human shield puppets. But they're about to surround it, and all of a sudden, we get an explosion going off. You're probably thinking, what the heck happened here? What do you guys do, Suicide Bombers? No, Bakudo is here, along with Class 1A. And you might be thinking, how the heck to get here? How the heck to know where he is? Well, they explain that in a flashback, which that's all from chapter 319, by the way. Yes, the whole scene is completely from chapter 319. So we have it where we have Bakudo, Tokiomi, and Shudo talking about the fact Deku talked team up with their mentors, and the fact they all agree he should go on and help him because basically he's their friend. So they bring a suggestion. Endeavor went here, didn't he? They're like, yeah. Of course, Hellspringer's like, all my way here too. Do not know if in fact that Hawks went here either. So they kind of in a way, and of course, then of course they walk into the conversation between Endeavor and the principal, and he's like, now in the manga he said this was a trap, and in the anime he said, you set me up. Like, I don't have a problem with that change. I think it's kind of hilarious. So, like, of course, Endeavor basically, of course, Shudo's questioning him. Why is he not answering his text? Which, yeah, some people basically will be upset about the fact that if you don't answer a freaking text on your phones, so, and the fact he thinks he can't exactly help because they're going to say things to your students, but despite the fact all these students have got their provisional license. So, who will protect the school? Oh, don't worry. And the professor, oh, don't worry about that. The security system will take care of that. Where you brought up the school festival, the thing that happened toward the end of season 4 of the anime. An arc that was delayed because of the pandemic. Yes. Now, there were some people who thought the arc was hit or miss. Some people thought it was filler. Yes. They thought a story arc that happened in the manga was filler. That is not a joke. They thought that the last arc adapted for season 4 was filler. And I have to point out, though, that is canon. I don't know why in the world some people don't like the School Festival arc. I personally had no problem with it. Because here was the thing. It was not like a gripping, dark story that had to be told. It was light. It was fun. Yeah, there was some action there. I was seeing Deku and Gentle Criminal, which he's coming back later on. Don't worry about that. So, in my opinion, that arc basically should get a little more appreciation than it did. Because the arc was really good. Yeah, it was taking up the last half of season 4, but it was really good. That's just my opinion anyways. Yeah, and that was the strange thing about the arc. It basically, now, the arc wasn't delayed because the thing took a while, because pandemic delayed it. It was because I was watching the dub for the thing, because air in Japan, no problem. It just releasing here was a problem, because that's when they decided to do dub from home stuff. So basically they use GPS from Deverson, whichever they have one of the students take his phone. So they track him down, and of course they take care of the dictator, no problem. And then it's leading into Deku versus Class A. That actually is a chapter from the manga. And that will take up very much the next episode. Now we're getting really close to wrapping up the Dark Hero arc. Now this is quite interesting for this season because this is the first season of this anime where it's only going to be 2 arcs of the whole manga adapted for the season. The reason for it is because the previous arc for this one was really long. It was over 100 chapters. The longest arc of the whole series. And it also took up the most amount of chapters. Not only chapters of manga, but also of the anime as well. Though they kind of started adapting with the previous season of the show, but this arc was long. Like the previous... Now, this arc took up almost 20 episodes of the anime, while in the manga, this was like 54 chapters, which made it the longest arc of the entire series. The Shiigase arc, which was adapted for season 4, that was only about 16. That was only about 41 chapters. That one was. It's also known as the Overhaul arc. Yeah, I'm going to meet the actor who plays Shiigase later on. Don't worry. Yeah, but this particular episode was just really good. I think that basically, like, the change they made were perfectly fine. And we are getting really close to wrap of the season, which, yeah, we're getting to that point here. But we have, like I said, we only have 3 more episodes left to go, and then we're done with the season. And I would not be surprised if we get greenlit for season 7, which probably makes this season, based upon a manga, that's not one of the big ones. It's not basically... For a seasonal anime, this is probably has the highest amount of seasons of all the anime I review. Because next will be season 7. And that'll be adapting, well, how many arcs came out of this one, you might be thinking? Well, if you're really curious, like after Dark here wraps up, there is 3 arcs to come out of this one. Yeah, there's 3. There is Stars and Stripe, UA Trader, which that is a really short arc. So you have 2 really short arcs, and then you have the current arc right now, which is going into chapter 343, which the arc is not wrapped up yet. Nope, that arc right now in the manga is going on for 40 chapters. 40. Which makes it currently the 3rd longest arc of the entire series. Yep. But yeah, that's going to be pretty much it to talk about this episode. Just really good. Love this episode. Okay, so that's going to be it for the single view. That's going to be it for videos tonight. So tomorrow, I will be discussing 3 anime, hopefully tomorrow, along with, actually probably 4, because I'm also discussing, Fruit Evolution. So I'm discussing that tomorrow, along with One Piece, Dragon Stampede, and Boruto. But I'm probably going to start with Dragon Stampede first. Yep. Next video. Bye.